Welcome to the Los Borrachos Happy Hour with your host, three-time fantasy champion, your new commish, Los Borrachos.
What up, what up, what up? Good morning. Fuck. I just wasted almost half an hour fucking I recorded some shit, realized that it wasn't recording off the microphone, sounded all far. So fuck it. I'm just gonna go into standings and then our matchups. I was gonna do top scorers for every position, but I'll just wait till next week to do that shit. Um cause yeah. Fuck it. So let's get into our standings.
Team standings. Brought to you by Los Borrachos.
All right. Week 3 standings a little bit close still. In first place, we have Mike and the boys. Look at that. At 2-0. In second, we have the Rook. Third, Rebel Scum. Fourth, Los Tanks. Fifth, Warhammers. Sixth, OG Men. Seventh, Los Borrachos. Eighth, the Arab Sensation. Ninth, the Nighthawk. And 10th, the Fuegos at 0-2. So pretty much we have first place at 2-0, 10th place at 0-2. Everyone in between is 1-1. All that separates us is points. We'll see this week. Pretty much all playing. I'm sure everyone's playing a one-on-one, except for whoever's playing Mike and the boys and the Fuegos. Could be a lot of movement. Like around week 5 is when we start really separating from each other, seeing what's up. Yeah, man, a lot of injuries. So, and so far the Warhammers has the most points against with 311. I would have thought it'd be the Rook with Alex putting up 150 on him. But now it's the Warhammers with 311. Second would be Los Tanks with 277. After that, OG Men with 272. The ones with the least points against is Mike and the boys with 202.0, and then Nighthawk with 202.5. So one of them's taking advantage of it, the other one isn't. So yeah, we'll get into what the matchups look like this week.
League matchups.
All right, and moving on to our matchups. First, we have Los Borrachos versus the Nighthawk, 118 to 120. Los Tanks versus Mike and the Boys, 117 to 128. OG Men, 117 against the Warhammers, 113. Rebel Scum, 130 versus the Fuegos, 118. The Arab Sensations, 120 versus the Rook, 130. So yeah, those are the matchups. We'll get into each one, see what's up. All right. And our first match of week 3, Los Borrachos versus the Nighthawk. Los Borrachos projected at 118 and the Nighthawk projected at 120. Los Borrachos is starting Josh Allen, Marvin Harrison Jr., Brian Thomas Jr., Bijan Robinson, Jordan Mason, Dalton Kincaid, Lad McConkey, Zamir White, and the Tampa Bay defense. Nighthawk is starting Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Tank Dell, Derrick Henry, James Cook, Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy, Keon Coleman, and the New Orleans defense. Los Borrachos, hopefully Josh Allen could fucking get it together. Only gave me about 13 points last game. Should be a bit of a shootout, I think, against Jacksonville. Shows weather, but hopefully it's not too bad. Marvin Harrison Jr. finally came to life. Hopefully keeps it going against Detroit. Just got burned by Baker Mayfield. Brian Thomas Jr. Still iffy about him. I mean, he's been pretty solid, double digits the last 2 weeks. Hopefully they don't shut him down like they did Marvin Harrison in week 1. They always play 2 high safeties and just try to keep everything in front. And Brian Thomas is more of those deep ball guys. But we'll see. If he's consistent, I don't want to move him out of my lineup. Since I lost Cooper Cup, I got to start some of these rookies sooner than I thought. Bijan Robinson against KC. I mean, I start Bijan. Jordan Mason versus the Rams. Just saw Connor put some points on him. I don't see why Mason wouldn't be able to. Dalton Kincaid against Jacksonville. I mean, hopefully, like I said, Josh Allen gets together, throws a little more to the tight end. No more of this running bullshit. Lad McConkey versus Pittsburgh. Looks like it's going to be also a weather game. It also depends if Herbert plays or not. If Herbert plays, I might switch him out for somebody else. I mean, if Herbert doesn't play, I might switch him for somebody else. Zamir White. I mean, I gotta believe in this man. I fucking drafted him pretty high. That offensive line isn't didn't get any better, but Pierce just came out and said they want to give him at least 20 touches a game against Carolina. I don't see him not being able to put up points. If he doesn't after this one, then I don't know, man. I'm probably done with that guy. Tampa Bay versus Denver. I mean, they're not a really good defense, but I mean, against Denver, that fool throws picks and gets sacked a lot. So hopefully that gives me some points. I was thinking maybe Chuba Hubbard, especially with Andy Dalton coming back as a quarterback. Maybe either Dobbs or Jennings or Foreman. Maybe starting one of these 2 guys. Fuck it, it's a flex. I just need some points on there. Nighthawk, obviously Joe Burrow and Chase fucking play against Washington, so that's a really good matchup for them. I mean, looks like it's a weather game, but it usually doesn't affect them too much. I think that's probably what everyone's saying, that it's their get right game and shit. So I just need my team to kind of keep up with them too. Tank Dill against Minnesota. We'll see how that goes. They're pretty good. That Minnesota defense is pretty good. Like I said, Tank Dell could just catch one of those bombs for a touchdown, and that could make his week. Derrick Henry versus Dallas. I mean, we just saw Alvin Kamara score 4 touchdowns on them. I mean, Derrick Henry's not that fast, but maybe they'll feed him the ball a little bit more. James Cook. I mean, Jacksonville has a pretty good run defense, but I mean, we'll see how he goes. Especially Josh Allen could throw the ball. That'll probably open up some running lanes for Cook. Travis Kelsey. I mean, hopefully he gets it back together. He hasn't really done shit all season. Like I said, him and Rashid Rice kind of run those same routes, so it's kind of bumped him down, and Rashid Rice has been striving on that. Xavier Worthy, boomer bust. He could have these big gains and whatnot, or he could just go like 2 for 4. But I mean, 2 catches for like 4 yards or some shit. Again, with Pacheco out, maybe they'll throw a little bit more, but I'm not sure. It's especially with Xavier Worthy. He's more of a gadget player guy, not really like a Rasheed Rice. Keon Coleman. I mean, I had high hopes for that guy, but yeah, doesn't look like Josh Allen is looking kind of his way. I mean, like I said, I expect kind of a small shootout with Jacksonville. Hopefully, I mean, but I don't know. New Orleans versus Philly. I mean, New Orleans has been a pretty solid defense. Why not? Philly's been struggling a little bit. They barely put up some points against Atlanta, and Atlanta's not really a good defense, so we'll see. I mean, maybe, like I said, maybe Eckler for Keon Coleman and just see what Keon Coleman does. Because that for sure they're getting blown out and they're going to be having to throw a lot in that game. Mm, Brandon, I don't know. Brandon Cooks didn't look so well last game. And people are talking about what's his name, Tolbert or whatever, getting more looks. But yeah, that'd probably be my only one was Eckler for Keon Coleman. Just because, again, I don't know. I mean, you want to live dangerously with Dell and Worthy. Might as well get something safe where you could get some points. So put Eckler in there. My only suggestion, like I said, take it or leave it. But yeah, we'll move on to the next one. All right, in our next matchup, we have Los Tanks versus Mike and the Boys. Los Tanks is projected 117 versus the Mike and the Boys 128. Can Los Tanks dethrone Mike and the Boys as the only undefeated? Had to go get a haul, man, because my throat's fucking up. I'm telling you, man, 30 minutes of me recording and shit, my voice is almost messed up and shit. But chingue su madre. All right, so Los Tanks is starting Dak Prescott, Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, Kyron Williams, Alvin Kamara, Hunter Henry, Alec Pierce, Amari Cooper, and the Las Vegas defense. The Mike and the Boys starting Jared Goff, CeeDee Lamb, Zay Flowers, Josh Jacobs, Jerome Ford, Brock Bowers, Devontae Adams, George Kittle, and the Cleveland defense. Dak Prescott should look to bounce back against Baltimore. He's at home. Should do well. That Baltimore defense isn't that scary anymore. Just saw Gardner Minshew fucking tear him up at the last minute. I don't see why Dak can't do that. Just paid him. Tyreek Hill, I mean, we'll see how he does with Skylar Thompson. I mean, I'm sure they'll scheme some shit for him, but I doubt it's gonna be those bombs that he's used to with Tua. Um, DJ Moore, I mean, I don't know. Caleb Williams doesn't look that good. Um, I mean, if Keenan Allen sits, I guess, because he'll get most of those targets. Uh, Kyron Williams, I mean, he should get a ton of work since Cooper Cup and Nakua are out. Alvin Kamara, I mean, Alvin Kamara, man, fucking Bijan was running all over them, so I don't see why Kamara can't do the same thing. Hunter Henry versus the Jets. All right. Yeah, I mean the Jets aren't that good against tight ends. Hunter Henry's getting a lot of targets. Um, I mean, if Sauce Gardner is gonna line up on some of the other wide receivers, Hunter Henry I think could take advantage of that. Pierce, I mean, yeah, he's deep ball. Chicago defense a little bit more tough, but I think he could get those deep shots, and one of those could just make you your week. Cooper against the Giants. If he doesn't do it here, man, I don't know about Marty Cooper this year. Unless Jameis Winston comes into play, then I don't see how he recovers. Las Vegas was Carolina. I mean, Vegas, that defense looks pretty tough, but fuck, man, I've I've been there where it looks like they have a great matchup and then they get fucking blown out. Um, maybe it looks different with Andy Dalton. Maybe more of a even, but we'll see. Yeah, I got Njoku. I just got the notification he's not supposed to play this week, so that kind of sucks. Um, Debo, yeah, he's out for a while. My bad. Just got a notification. Kansas City just signed running back Keontae Ingram. Uh, don't know who that is, but just adding running backs to that backfield. Uh, Debo is out for a while, so I don't know if you can start him. Swift, maybe Swift against Indy. I mean, just Josh Jacobs just ran over Indy. Maybe they start leaning more on the run than just having Caleb Williams throw the fucking ball all the time. Mm. Yeah, that's pretty much only the only person I would say you could start from your bench or give a shot to, which is DeAndre Swift. Maybe Swift over Cooper. Up to you, but I mean, I don't know because Cooper hasn't done shit the last 2 games, and they say like he doesn't look like he's in the same page as Deshaun Watson. I personally haven't seen any of the Cleveland games because I don't have any Cleveland players on my team, so I wouldn't be able to tell you how it looks. Um, but yeah, I would say that's my only suggestion for you. Just think about it with Cooper or Pierce. I mean, like I said, Chicago's a tough defense. Um, who knows if Richardson will get that time to throw the ball like deep. All right, and Mike and the boys. Jared Goff, huh? All right. Jared Goff versus Arizona. I mean, Josh Allen let them up week 1, but then they turned it on in week 2 and shut down Matthew Stafford. But then again, Matthew Stafford was missing like most of his fucking people and his line. Jared Goff with that awesome offensive line, I think he'll do good. Hopefully they don't just run the ball, but he might be into a shootout with Arizona, especially how good they looked this past weekend. CeeDee Lamb versus Baltimore. He'll have Humphreys against him, but I mean Devontae Adams just fucking lit him up. It's only if Dak could take a chance and fucking throw it up for him. Zay Flowers, I think he should be fine. What's his name? Brand, the corner, the inside corner for him is still out, I think. So it should be fine. Plus, he's getting all these targets. Josh Jacobs versus Tennessee. That's a little bit harder of a matchup. Tennessee has a pretty good run defense. And I'm sure they're going to sell out and stopping the run and have Malik Willis try and throw the ball, which is not a good thing. So, yeah, I'll, as they say, temper expectations. Jerome Ford versus the Giants. I mean, great matchup. Um, problem is like if he's sharing now carries with Deontay Foreman, who I just picked up, it's not looking good for him. And they keep signing people to come into the backfield, but I mean, he should give you decent points. He's still a good player, and especially against the Giants, they might be up and then just start running the ball. Brock Bowers, I mean, he gets his targets. Who would have fucking thought that Gardner Minshew was gonna just hyper target this fool? It's like Darren Waller with Derek Carr, like a few years back. Um, Devontae Adams. It looks like you're the fucking Raider fan in this scenario. Devontae Adams against Carolina. Problem with the problem with going against Carolina is that if they go up big, they could just run the ball and then just eat out the clock. But I mean, with Andy Dalton being in Carolina, I mean, I don't see why they couldn't be competitive and keep it going. But up to you. Usually, when I start more than one Raider, it backfires on me. George Kittle as your flex. That makes sense. Deebo Samuel out. You got a Uke Kittle. Probably get more bumps and targets. And Juwan Jennings. Cleveland defense versus the Giants. Yeah, Daniel Jones is good for some sacks and interceptions. Plus, they're at home, so hmm. Got Rashad White, Stephon Diggs, Montgomery, Darnell Mooney, T. Higgins, and Tyson Chandler. I was looking into Chandler this morning. Pretty much when I was about to make the move, it said that it was too late and you had to pick them up. But yeah, it's a good pickup. I wanted to grab them too, but fucking like I said, Cooper Cup is in on IR, so I don't have any roster space to drop. Um, I'm I pretty much like the lineup looks good. Like I said, my only question mark was Jerome Ford, just because last week it looked like he took a backseat to Deontay Foreman, getting less touches. Hmm. I'd probably maybe Montgomery over him, just to get that solid floor in case Josh Jacobs doesn't do shit against Tennessee. You don't want two guys not doing shit. Um, and then Kittle against the Rams. I mean, they might just be up in that game and run the ball, not really throw that much. Hmm. Yeah, give Rashard White a bit, get healthy. T. Higgins. I mean, even if he's back, man, that fool's injury prone. I never trust T. Higgins. He's good for like one game of like 30 points, and then after that, nothing. But yeah, I mean, those are only my suggestions. Said up to you if you want to listen to it or just think about it. But yeah, move on to the next one. All right. Our next matchup we have OG Men versus the Warhammers. OG Men projected at 117, Warhammers projected at 113. Warhammers is starting Anthony Richardson, Michael Pittman, Devontae Smith, Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker, Mark Andrews, Calvin Ridley, Deontay Johnson, and the Colts defense. Warhammers is starting Jaden Daniels, Mike Evans, Rasheed Rice, Brees Hall, Zach Moss, Isaiah Likely, Terry McLaurin, George Pickens, and the Pittsburgh defense. Uh, my bad. I just got a notification. Apparently, Isaiah Pacheco might not even return this season. Um, fuck, that sucks. Um, so Anthony Richardson, I mean, fuck, and Pittman going up against a tough Chicago defense. I mean, the good thing is they're at home, so they don't have to travel to Chicago to play them, but it's gonna be tough. Pittman's not really getting those targets that he should, and pretty much Richardson throws more downfield than he does those in routes that Pittman does. I mean, I don't think he's done anything the last 2 games. Yeah, 7-5. Um, but I mean, drafted him high. Devontae Smith, I mean, he should do well, especially with no AJ Brown this week. But he's going up against a tough defense of New Orleans. If Lattimore plays, he might shadow him. But even without Lattimore, I mean, they did pretty good against CeeDee Lamb, I think they did. And those wide receivers from Dallas. Joe Mixon, I mean, he's questionable. Like I said, if they say he might play, and if he does, maybe limited, not 30 touches. Kenneth Walker, I think they said he could be a go. He just has to deal with that pain because it's more of an abdomen pain or whatever that he feels. Andrews versus Dallas. I mean, he should do well. I don't see why not. He got more involved last game. Maybe he keeps it going. Calvin Ridley versus Green Bay. I mean, he's gonna have Jair Alexander on him, I think, if they play man. I mean, he did get over what's his name? Gardner. I don't know if Gardner's the same this year, but that shutdown corner that he was known to be. Deontay Johnson, yeah, I mean, with Andy Dalton being back, I think he should be a little more relevant, get more targets, good targets. Indy versus Chicago. I mean, Indy's not a tough defense, but I think they get it done against a rookie, and especially with that offensive line being so fucked up. But man, just looking at your bench, OG men, Pacheco IR. I mean, well, I was gonna say put him on IR, but you already have Nick Chubb, McCaffrey there. uh, Keenan Allen still dealing with that foot thing. Brock Purdy. I don't know, man. And then Kareem Hunt. I mean, he's a good pickup, but I don't know if he'll play this week. He might, maybe next week, just to get up to speed. I mean, he's just been sitting on the couch. He needs to get in game shape. And the Jets defense versus New England. Why not play the Jets defense versus New England? I don't know, man. I'm seeing a lot of stuff on your bench that I mean, at this point, why keep? Start filling your bench with players that could play. Like, I don't think if you're gonna stick with Richardson, why keep Brock Purdy? You know, you could always pick him back up. No one's gonna. I mean, I won't grab him. Maybe somebody else will. Then, uh, why carry 2 defenses? I mean, especially if you're just gonna keep starting the Colts, just drop the Jets. Get yourself a wide receiver depth, running back depth, any depth. That's just my 2 cents. But anyways, Warhammers. Jaden Daniels missed out on the Baker Mayfield pickup, huh? So him against Cincinnati, a little tougher defense. I don't. I mean, they might ask him to do more this game, just because, like I said, it'll probably be a shootout with Cincinnati. Oh no, Cincinnati for sure will put up points. Um, Mike Evans versus Denver. I mean, he might get the certain shadow. Like I said, saw what happened to George Pickens. Saw what happened to DK Metcalf. But I mean, I think Mike Evans is solid where he get those bombs and he always wins those 50-50 balls. Rasheed Rice, like I said, the same thing with Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelsey. Now that Pacheco's not there, maybe they throw a little bit more. Um, but we'll see. Priest Hall, legit. Um, that New England defense is a little bit tougher, but I mean, he gets targets. They get him open and shit like that. So I think he'll do well. Zach Moss versus Washington, obviously, fucking probably run all over those fools. Likely came back to earth after last game. I'm telling you, the reason he was getting targets because Mark Andrews was getting blanketed, and they were like, "You gotta beat us with somebody else besides Mark Andrews." But I mean, they are running a lot of two tight end sets, so I mean, he might still get his targets. Um, McLaurin versus Cincinnati. I mean, I don't know, man. He hasn't been doing well, and if he didn't do it against the Giants, I don't know if he could do it against Cincy. George Pickens versus the Chargers. I think it should be a good matchup for him. I think he could blow up in this game. Um, which we call it. Like I said, the last game because he was blanketed by Certain, didn't get so much points. Drew a lot of penalties, but we don't give points for penalties. My bad. So yeah, Keenan Allen will not practice today. Pittsburgh versus the Chargers. I mean, if what's his name? Justin Herbert doesn't play, I mean that's a solid play. Fucking Pittsburgh's defense has been pretty solid this whole week. I mean this season so far. I mean Goddard. Problem is New Orleans doesn't give too many points to the tight end position, so that'd be a little hard to start him. I mean Christian Kirk hasn't done shit all season. Khalil Shakir, the wide receiver one for Buffalo. Madison. I mean, he could do some damage in Carolina. Braylon Allen. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't get Goddard more involved against New Orleans, especially if it's going to be a shootout, you know? So, it's, like I said, with A.J. Brown out, he should get some more targets. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Could be a toss up uh, between who could score less points. But yeah, man, good luck to both of you. A ver who comes out on top. All right, our next matchup we have Rebel Scum versus the Fuegos. Rebel Scum projected at 130, the Fuegos projected at 118. The Fuegos trying to get his first win of the season. Rebel Scum trying to keep it going. Third place. Last year's Azades winner and last year's champion. Rebel Scum is starting Lamar Jackson, Justin Jefferson, Amon St. Brown, Ramondre Stevenson, Tony Pollard, Pratt Fryermuth, Devon Achan, James Conner, and the Chiefs defense. The Fuegos starting Jalen Hurts, Chris Olave, Brandon Ayuk, Jameer Gibbs, Rico Dowdle, Trey McBride, Jalen Waddle, Samaje Perine, and the Baltimore defense. Rebel Scum, Lamar Jackson. I mean, against Dallas, pretty solid defense, but I think he should get it done, especially because he runs the ball and all that shit. Just saw New Orleans put up 40 some points on them, so I don't see why Lamar Jackson can't do that unless that offense is really struggling. But we'll see. I think he should do solid. Jefferson, if he plays, I mean, they might be cautious with him and hold him out another game. I mean, they said it's just a contusion and that he should be able to play through it, so he should be fine, I guess. I mean, you don't say Justin Jefferson. Amon Ra, same thing. I don't know what it was, but they're saying the same thing that he could. It's nothing serious, and he should be able to play through it. He should light up Arizona. Ramondre Stevenson versus the Jets. I mean, Jordan Mason put up 100 yards on him. They can't really stop the run like that. Tony Pollard put up some yards on him too, I guess. I believe. Let me check. Yeah. Well, 62. I mean, yeah, 62. Not bad, but yeah, his targets. Um, and Stevenson also gets a little bit of targets, but not too much. But yeah, he should do well. Problem is if they get down in this game, it'll be some Gibson mixed in there. Tony Pollard versus Green Bay. I mean, they just gave up 100 some yards to Jonathan Taylor. I don't see why you can't do it. Spears dealing with some sort of ankle thing. If it's all him, man, he should do well, especially catching the ball and everything from the backfield. Um, Fryermuth versus the Chargers. I mean, yeah. I mean, I haven't really paid attention to him, but yeah, I mean, that's good points. 6 or 7 from a tight end. That's not bad. I mean, you want more, but fucking tight end sucks. Devon Achane versus Seattle. Seattle's pretty bad at the run, and I'm sure they're just gonna want to run the ball instead of letting Skylar Thompson throw the fucking ball. Um, put up 30 points against the Bills. I mean, but most of it was garbage time, so I think he should do also pretty good, unless Seattle just commits to stopping the run. But they don't have linebackers like that to keep up with Achane. Connor versus Detroit. Detroit has a pretty solid run defense. I mean, maybe with Kyler Murray throwing the ball might help him a little bit, but I just don't see how Connor puts up. Maybe if he gets close to the goal line, gets one of those rushing touchdowns. But yeah, Detroit's pretty solid on the run defense. Chiefs versus Atlanta. Yeah, I guess. I mean, they're all right defense. 5-11. Yeah. Yeah, Evan Ingram's still injured. I don't know if he's going to play this week. Rashid Shaheed. Smith and Jigba. I mean, maybe one of those over Connor. Or, I mean, at least if one of your top guys is done, you could slide one of those guys in there. Yeah, not much advice on you. I mean, third place up there for a reason. Almost was scoring big points the last few weeks. The Fuegos starting Jalen Hurts against New Orleans. A little tougher matchup, but I mean he runs the ball, he throw it, just gotta manage those interceptions. Chris Olave versus Philly. I mean, like I said, that New Orleans offense has been pretty solid the last few games. Olave is probably finally getting some targets. I mean, hopefully they don't get up by too much, or else they just kind of run the ball. Brandon Ayuk versus the Rams. I mean, maybe this is a get right game for him. And then shit the last 2 games. Maybe this one with Debo out, he'll be the focal point of the offense. I mean, with Debo out, I think he puts up a solid stat line. Jameer Gibbs versus Arizona. I mean, Arizona sucks. The defense sucks. They got ran over by James Cook. Um, Kyra Williams did decent, but that's because they were from behind. So I think Jameer Gibbs could blow up. Rico Dowdle versus Baltimore. I mean, last week I think he started the game. should do pretty well against Baltimore. Right? 9 points, 7. I mean, you want to see those in double digits, but targets 5, 4 receptions for 29. So yeah, I mean, should do decent. I mean, why not? Trey McBride versus Detroit. I think they're okay against tight end, but I mean McBride gets those targets from Murray. Jalen Waddle versus Seattle. My whole thing is just Skylar Thompson. I don't know if you'll get him involved. The ending of that game on Thursday night didn't look so good, but yeah. Samaje Perine, I mean, he's a veteran. Hopefully, I know he could do between the tackles and catch the ball, so I don't see why they wouldn't get him involved. But I know they're also trying to get the Carson Steele. I think he gets the early down role, but we'll see how this looks on Sunday night. Baltimore versus Dallas. That Baltimore defense isn't really what it used to be. Like I said, they just gave up a win to the Raiders. I guess. I mean, I don't know what other defense you would be able to grab that gives you more upside in the waiver wire, and whether you be willing to drop that defense. Yeah, man, sucks. AJ Brown out. Um, able to grab Steele and fucking Pirine. Yeah, I mean, same thing. Mostert, I think he's still dealing with that chest pain or whatever he's dealing with. I mean, I haven't gotten any notification from it, but yeah, I don't know. No one really on your bench I'd throw into your starting lineup. And I mean, unless you want to go both KC running backs. But no, I think Dowd will do fine as an RB2. My only thing is Waddle. But I mean, there's no one else you'd be able to throw in there. If I can, since AJ Brown is out, it kind of forces you to start Waddle. Um, and yeah, doubtful. Like fucking just put him out, man. Like I have the same problem with Cooper Cup. So I haven't been able to pick up anybody else. Um, but yeah, good luck. Fucking maybe your first win of the season, or Rebel Scum keeps it going, stays still at the top. But good luck to both of you. Woo! And our last matchup of the evening, we have the Arab Sensations versus the Rook. The Arab Sensations is projected 120 versus the Rook 130. The Arab Sensations starting C.J. Stroud, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Travis Etienne, Brian Robinson Jr., Sam Laporta, Malik Neighbors, Demarcus Robinson, and the Niners defense. The Rook is starting Patrick Mahomes, Nico Collins, DK Metcalf, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Kyle Pitts, Chris Godwin, J.K. Dobbins, and the Chargers defense. All right. For the Arab sensation, C.J. Stroud versus Minnesota. I mean, that Minnesota defense is pretty solid. And he's going to Minnesota. It's going to be a little tough, but I think he could do it. I know Brock Purdy struggled, but I don't know, man. I think he can do it. Put up some points there. Garrett Wilson versus New England. I mean, he might get that shadow. What's that guy's name? Gonzalez. But I mean, getting a little more in same page with Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully that helps him out. Drake London versus KC. I mean, I'm sure he's going to be shadowed by their corner. I forgot what their top corner's name is. But I mean, he kind of shut down Jamar Chase last week, and then week 1, I think he took out somebody. I don't know who he took out. Travis Etienne versus Buffalo. I mean, that's a good matchup. Buffalo can't really stop the run. Um, Brian Robinson Jr. versus Cincinnati. I mean, he's getting all the touches, so I mean, he should be pretty solid. Laporta needs to get it together. Fucking, I don't know if he's injured or not getting open or what, but I mean, Arizona's pretty bad against the tight end position, so that should be a good matchup for him to exploit. And it should be a little shootout between them two, you know. Malik Neighbors versus Cleveland. I don't know, man. Cleveland's a tough defense, and like I said, Daniel Jones won't have time to throw the ball or whatnot. I mean, it's hard to sit him after he had that big ass game, but I mean, if he's getting a ton of targets, why not? Um, Demarcus Robinson. I mean, yeah, but I mean that offense doesn't look right, especially not with a good the offensive line still struggling. I mean, I'm sure the Niners. That's why the Niners defense a pretty solid start. Get some, sacks and shit like that. But again, yeah, there's no one on your bench at start over Neighbors. Mm, yeah, Jalen Warren's not what we thought he would be. I mean, Dunze also same thing, especially with Caleb Williams not being able to throw the ball with that bad offensive line not blocking for him. Javonte Williams too. I mean, he got more run this past week. Maybe they're gonna trust him a little more and have him be the main guy. Joshua Downs. I mean, he's coming back, I guess. He has some rapport with Richardson, but I mean, is he healthy? Is he coming back 100%, or he's still lingering with that shit? Um, the Rook, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, like I said, hopefully now that Pacheco's out, he throws a little more, but who knows? Might just stay the same with just trying to run the ball and all that. Nico Collins. You don't sit Nico Collins, who's legit. DK Metcalf versus Miami. He might draw the Ramsey shadow. So temper expectation. Jonathan Taylor versus Chicago. Again, tough defense. I mean, I think he should get it done. Tony Pollard kind of ran over him a little bit, and he's a little smaller back, so I think Taylor could do it. Saquon Barkley versus New Orleans. Same thing. New Orleans has a tough run defense. Uh, but I don't see how Saquon Barkley doesn't get some run in there, especially with a pretty good offensive line. Cal Pitts versus KC. I mean, that could be a shootout, so he'd get you those garbage time points. Um, Chris Godwin versus Denver. I mean, he won't get any certain shadow, and plus he plays a lot in the slot, so he should be doing his shit. J.K. Dobbins versus Pittsburgh. This is gonna be the real test for him. See if he could, if he keeps it going, because Pittsburgh's a tough defense all around. Um, but we'll see. Chargers versus Pittsburgh. I mean, just unless Justin Field is gonna do some crazy shit, I don't know. I doubt he puts up some points. I mean, they haven't really put up points like that. Mm, yeah, no one really that I would kind of just throw in your bench. I mean, throw on your starting lineup, especially they're doing so well. Put up 180 last week, 150 the week before. I mean, it's pretty solid. Just that this week, some of your guys are going up against tough defenses. or shadows that you might want to. I don't know if you hit 180, but hey, man, good shit. Second place, 1-1. I mean, should be 2-0, but that first matchup kind of boned you a bit. But I mean, maybe this week separate yourself, move up, or stay the same. And depends on what Mike and the boys do. Because technically, he has less points than you guys in the at the top. It's just more wins. But yeah, I mean, I'm already seeing on the group chat you guys talking shit. It's alright, Tocayo. It's a long season. But yeah, good luck to you guys. Fuck it. Maybe Rook keeps it going, and or Aziz pulls the upset. All right, and that'll do it for me this week. Week 3. Good luck this weekend. Hopefully no more fucking injuries. Knock on fucking wood. Tired of getting these notifications, doubtful to return, and all this bullshit. Fucking OG men really going through it over there. I just got a notification. Joe Mixon ankle not practicing today. Same thing with Damian Pierce. So Nighthawk looks like that pickup of Cam Akers kind of worked in your favor a little bit. I mean, maybe start him. I don't know. Up to you. Over Keon Coleman. Just something to think about. But yeah. Good luck, bitches. Peace out.
Thank you for watching the Los Borrachos Happy Hour. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time,